Hi guys! All right, we're going to do our last set of notes for the unit. How crazy. Today we're going to talk about graphing lines and graphing inequalities. Now, if you remember, let's get to the notes here. The equation of a line in slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay. Oops. Intercept. Now, if you remember, slope is change in y over change in x. You subtract your y's over subtracting your x's. We'll do another problem with slope another day, but I just wanted to remind you that. So now when we graph equations of lines, we always need y by itself. So let's start out easy here. The y is already by itself, so we're ready to graph. Now if you remember, once y is by itself, it's super easy to graph this equation. We go to our calculator, go to a new document, don't save, add a graph, and type it in. So negative 4/5 x, oops, I messed up here, so I'm going to hit tab, and it should bring me back to it. So negative 4/5 x plus 3. Let me just double check that's correct. It is. Now, I don't want you guys to just guess where this line would be. I want you to Control T to get a table and graph the points that we can graph. So for example here, I can't graph negative 10, 11 because my graph only goes to 10. I can't graph 0.2 or 0.4 or 0.6 or 0.8, but I can graph negative 5, 7. So negative 5, 7 means I go over negative 5, up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, put a dot. And that's my point. Now, if you remember, the skinny bars are your x's. The fat bar here is your y. So let's keep scrolling to see what we can graph. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, 0, 3. I can graph that. Over 0, up 3. Put a dot. Keep scrolling. 5, negative 1. Over 5, down negative 1, put a dot. Okay. Let's keep scrolling. 10, negative 5. I can graph that. Over 10, down 5. Ooh, we're going to go down a little bit here. Down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a dot. Now, you would take a straight edge, right? Maybe the side of your folder, your phone, whatever it is. Make a straight line. Of course, mine was not a great example there. Use arrows. Label. And that is how we graphed a line last year. Now, I want to show you how to graph this using your Google slides here. So obviously, you know, these you can fill in. There's text box there. Here, if you go to this little function here and do arrow, right? Because you want arrows on this. You're going to give it your best shot. So let's go up to 0, 3. It's kind of like the middle point. And then I want it to go through negative 5, 7. So let's see, negative 5. Actually, let's see here. Oops. Yeah, let's do this one. Oops, sorry. So click that, 0, 3. Negative 5, 7 is there. Okay. And then this way, this direction, We want it at 5, -1. So let's see if I can extend it this way to go through 5, -1. And there's my line. Now I know there's no arrow on that side. It's only putting the arrows on the one side. But if you graph it, and when you graph it, they should have arrows on both sides. Now, let's include a text box here so we can type in our equation. Y equals -4/5 x plus 3. Again, do your best on homeworks, tests, quizzes, all of that. I would have you do it on paper or on that whiteboard I gave you. All right, let's try another one here. So, the equation is not in y equals form. In order to graph it, it needs to be in y equals form. So, let's try to get y by itself. I'm going to rewrite it up here. To get rid of a +4, we want to subtract 4 to both sides. So we get -2y equals 3x minus 4. Now, if you remember last year, I said you cannot combine an x and a number. That doesn't make sense. So now, divide by -2. Y equals 3x minus 4 over -2. And last year, I did not make you simplify that. This year, I'm not going to make you simplify that. I'm going to have you put that directly into your calculator. So, let's get to a new graph here. It's not safe. A fraction. 3x minus 4 over -2. Okay, Control T. Let's graph the points here we can graph. So it looks like I can graph -4, 8. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. That means I go over -4, up 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, put a dot. I can graph -2, 5, so over 2, up 5, put a dot. I can graph 0, 2, put a dot. I can graph 2, -1, put a dot. I can graph 4, -4, and I'm probably sounding like a robot here, but over 4, down 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, -7, over 6, down 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And last, 8, -10. So over +8, down 10. All right. Now we'll connect our points to make the best line that we can make. Oops, that was not good. Normally you guys would be using a straight edge. I'm on my computer, so you guys know how that goes. Can't connect all the points because I can't see them all. But we're going to do our best, and we're going to write the equation of our line, which is right here. Okay. And that is it. So again, to do this on your paper, we're going to do this button, hit arrow. Looks like it's going through 0, 2, and then 2, 5. So 0, 2. Oops. And then 2, 5. I'm sorry, -2, 5. Okay, so kind of off like that. And let's do 1 in the other direction. So over 2, down -1. So over 2, down -1 would be that point there. So let's see if I can't get this line. Oops, to go through that. All right, again, I know there's not arrows on both sides. When you do it on paper, that should. I'm going to do a text box here. Type in my equation. So y equals 3x minus 4 in parentheses, so you know it's all on top, divided by -2. I know it's kind of hard for you to see. Let's move it down there so you can see that. Okay, I know graphing on Google Slides is tricky. That's why I will never, ever, ever have you do that. Anything I will have you do it on the whiteboard and send me a picture. All right, let's jump to the next set of notes here on the last piece. I do want you guys, if you need to pause the video to stop and rewind and look at anything you need to look at, okay? So graphing inequalities. Remember we did this last year with shading and coloring? Graphing an inequality is very similar to graphing a line, just like solving an inequality is very similar to solving an equation. So you have to remember. So our line is dashed. Remember, it would look something like this if you just have greater than or less than. The line's weak. It's not a straight line. I mean, it's a straight line, but it's not fully like written in. The line is solid and strong when you have those strong inequalities with the weights underneath, right? And the other difference between graphing an equation and graphing a line is that with an equation, you have to shade, do the coloring. And remember, when you divide by a negative, you flip the inequality sign. So let's do 2 examples here. We're going to practice this in class on Friday. Graph the inequality on the grid below. All right, so we got to get y by itself. Same old story as with an equation. So instead of positive 4x, we subtract 4x to both sides. We get negative y is less than or equal to negative 4x plus 10. Now there's a 1 there you don't see. So divide by -1, divide by -1. And we get y is greater than or equal to, we divided by a negative, so you flip your inequality sign. Negative 4x plus 10 over -1. Now remember, when we graph this, we cannot graph it as an inequality because the calculator, oops, I want to go to a graph. The calculator will give you a table. So in order to get a table, we're going to graph it just like we normally would. So negative 4x plus 10 over -1. Let's graph what we can. So Control T. Looks like I can graph 0, -10. So over 0, down 10, put a dot. Looks like I can graph 1, -6. So over 1, down 6. Looks like I can graph, whoops, 2, -2. Over 2, down 2. 3, 2. Over 3, up 2. 4, 6. Over 4 to the right, up 6. Okay. And then it was 5, 10. So over 5, up 10. Now, because it has a underneath, it's greater than or equal to, it's a strong line. So I'm going to connect this with a strong line here, aka solid line. Oops, let's keep dragging you. You gonna let me drag you? Let's see, it did. Awesome. And now there's shading involved in this. There's different lines we have to color. There's some shading. It's greater than or equal to. So your coloring goes, oops, on top. Everything above, remember I said you don't need to be a perfectionist with your coloring. We'll put a big S there. And that is your solution set. So everything in there is an answer. So state a point that's in the solution set. Well, I'm going to say 0, 0. But maybe Alex would say -1, 1. Maybe Sam would say 1, 1. Maybe Cole would say 0, 2. Maybe Martin would say negative 5, 0. Those are all answers. There's many, 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 many. A point that's not in the solution set would be a point that's not in the coloring area. So let's see, 9, 1. That's not in the coloring area. Okay. So for you guys, this is going to be a little tricky. I'm absolutely aware. You're able to write these in. They should all have text boxes for you. Let's see. Oh, some may not. I apologize if it does not. You just have to add a text box yourself. The graph is tricky on this one. All right. So here you can put text boxes and put an answer, right? For that one and for this one. For your graphs, what I'll do is I will actually post a PDF of these notes so that you have them. So don't worry about putting them on your graph here. I'll post the notes so that you have it so you can see the graph, because that's kind of tricky to graph. You're not going to be able to shade probably, and you're not going to be able to, we can certainly graph the line, but we can't shade. Unless I think of a way here. Scribble? Oh, Scribble might work. Let's see if that works. Kind of learning with you guys here. Oh, look at that. Scribble works. Okay, so let's graph the line together then. So it looks like it's going through 0, negative 10. So first we have to do our line. Sorry, one with the arrow. So 0, negative 10. Oops. And then let's get another point that's going through here. 1, negative 6. Okay. And we'll kind of let it go like that. And then it's going through 2, negative 2. Oh, look at that. Ours is. And then it's going through 4, 6. So let's drag it so it goes through 4, 6. Okay. I know this is frustrating. All right. And then let's do our scribble tool. So go down to where it says scribble and drag and color all above as much as you can. Again, don't be a perfectionist here. We just want to, oh, why did mine just go away? We just want to show the shading. All right. In the last example here, so again, if you need to pause the video to do the notes, please do. I know this is a longer one, guys. I apologize. Let's do number 20, the slide really quickly. Okay. 2y plus x is less than negative 4. Let's get y by itself. So minus x. 2y is less than negative 4 minus x. Well, we don't like the 2 there, so let's divide everything by 2. So negative 4 minus x over 2. We don't flip the inequality sign because we didn't divide by a negative. So if I put this in my calculator, new document, don't save, add a graph, add a fraction, negative 4 minus x over 2. Hopefully that's correct. Negative 4 minus x over 2. It is. Control T. I know I'm going quickly. Let's practice a couple points here. Negative 2, negative 1. We can graph that. Negative 2, negative 1 is over negative 2, down 1. 0, negative 2 over 0, down 2. 2, negative 3 over 2, down 1, 2, 3. All right, I'll let you guys do a little shortcut here and just kind of connect those points, those 3 points. Now, oops, You obviously wanted to actually connect, not like what my line just did. Here we go. Now we can actually connect them. All right. And we say that it was less than. So in that case, oops, my goodness, I can't even, well, let's see. I'm just going to draw mine in. All right, there's my line. It's less than, so that means shading goes below. Oops. All below. Okay. Make sure you have arrows on both sides. The shading is correct. You should be labeling it. Is less than -4. And that is it, okay? So, whew, that was 20 minutes. I apologize. That was one of the longer ones. But you can stop there. Make sure you do this last graph. And then when you are done, you are done. All right, we'll go over these again in class on Friday. They will not be on your quiz. And we will take it from there. Email us if you have any questions, guys. Have a good night.